Hello, I'm Lise Colucci, one of the life coaches at Queen Being, and welcome to live video coaching. Today, we are talking about emotionally safe people, how to spot them, how to spot if someone is not one, and then a little bit about dating after narcissistic abuse. So, hello to everyone who's here already. Hello, Jack Lumen and Alicia. That's who I see here. Excuse me. So, emotionally safe people. Okay, let's talk about that. So this was a question from, I think it was James, the Broviver, last week, or Tuesday, rather. Yeah, Tuesday. We're on Thursday now. So he was asking how to spot emotionally safe people and how to know that someone is emotionally safe. So let's talk about a few of the things you might notice. So I guess the opposite of a red flag, whatever that would be. They listen to you and you feel heard. So you're talking to someone and you feel heard, not in a way where they're trying to get information out of you, but in a way where you feel like there's some reciprocal communication going back and forth, and you feel heard, you feel like you hear them. So that's one way. You feel validated. You feel like what you're saying is actually being listened to, heard, and then they're able to repeat back to you in a way that allows you to feel validated. They are people who can assert their own boundaries, and they also respect yours. So if someone says no to you, if someone, if someone is able to assert a boundary and you can kind of sense that maybe it's not something you wanted to hear, or something, maybe, you have a feeling, oh, that's the line they've drawn. And they know what their boundaries are. They're able to assert them. But at the same time, if you assert yours, they respect them. So that's an emotionally safe. Hello, Emily, and hello, Mo Cowboy. Emily says, I was literally just working through this and setting boundaries with the people who seem unsafe. And exactly. So this is good. So another thing you can look for is people who are emotionally safe want you to grow. They want you to experience your own life. They want you to keep growing, evolving, changing. They are there for you. They don't knock you down when you have a success. They celebrate your successes. They sit beside you when you're having harder days. They don't invalidate you when you're having a hard time. And their aim is for you to succeed along with them succeeding. So they're positive in their own life as well, and with their own successes. They don't brag about them, but they share them. Does that make sense? Let's see. They let you talk and vent if you need to, and they stay neutral. They don't have to get into your drama. They don't take on your negativity when you have it. They just sort of let you be there and let you have the experience you need to have and vent what you need to vent. And then maybe they talk to you about it after, but they don't sit and get all riled up with you and create more drama for you. They let you just have your experience. Is any of this sounding good to you guys? Let's see. I don't want to skip anything here. They are patient. Emotionally safe people are patient with you. They make you feel patient as well. Okay, there's not this hurried anxiety about them. Emotionally safe people are non-judgmental. So while they may have opinions and while they may be able to be judging, they are non-judgmental. They're not critical of you for the things that you do that are imperfect. They perhaps might point out things to you if they need to be pointed out, but they can do so in a way that doesn't make you feel judged. Okay, you might feel like, oh, they see something I need to work on. Great. And, if you ask, they may tell you. But they're not going to be judgmental of you and critical. So you don't have that feeling. Or if you do have that feeling, and that's your feeling that you feel judged all the time, then that's something to work on so that you can learn to see whether someone's being judgmental or just helping you out, right? Because I can't read my writing here, so we'll skip that. They keep their word. If I can read it later, I'll read it. They keep their word. They don't future fake, right? They tell you something, and if they do need to change plans, there's legitimate reasons. Hello, soccer mom. They are compassionate and they have empathy. So not just towards you, but toward other people, toward other things in the world, that you can sense their compassion and empathy. They also they communicate truth in an honest and clear way. So if they need to tell you something and it is a truth, they can communicate it in a way that's clear and honest without being offensive and rude and critical and judging, right? Judgmental, rather. Um, they're okay with silence. They don't need constant talking. They can hang out and just be quiet. Um, but they don't need to be quiet in order to hang out. Does that make sense? They're okay in the silence, in the calmer moments. Those are some of the things that I came up with here for emotionally safe people. We'll talk about in just a minute. I'm going to read some of what you guys are talking about, and then we'll talk about some red flags for emotionally unsafe people. Okay, so let me back up here and read this. Let's see. Everyone's saying hello to everyone. If I missed anyone, hello, Alicia. I don't know if I said hello. Mo Cowboy says, howdy, I'm learning to discern safe people. Teach me more. I'm not an empath, as I cannot tell when people lie to me. That doesn't make you not an empath. Or I wouldn't have been with narcs all my life. That doesn't make you not an empath. So let's take the word an empath out of there, and you can consider yourself a person with empathy. I'm sure you do. You take care of animals. You take care of you care about your community, and you've displayed empathy in our talks here. So I don't know you personally, but I would say you probably have empathy. And if you mean you're not able to discern when people lie to you, that doesn't necessarily translate to being an empath or not, because we've been also conditioned to accept things in our lives regardless of whether we are consider ourselves empaths or not, and we can have we can overlook things because of it. So that's probably a little bit of a different topic there, unless I'm misunderstanding what you're saying, which is totally true, totally possible. I mean, it is fortuitous and convenient. Yes, Jack Lemon says. Let's see. We're talking about Cloud Townsend's. Yeah, there was a link, which I have not had a chance to read yet, unfortunately. It's called Picking Safe People. I will get to reading that and maybe do another follow-up on this. Did not have time in the day to read much. Good evening, soccer mom. Whoops. Let's see. Emily, is it healthy to let a person know you may be unresponsive and distant due to working through trauma, or does that make me the unhealthy friend? I think it depends on the situation and who the person is. I think we can that sounds really specific. Like it might be to a specific situation. It's hard to answer that generally because I think it could go either way, depending on the situation. To say I'm completely unavailable to you might be a little bit of an unhealthy friend in a sense. If you know you're unavailable emotionally right now, then you're more of a surface friend, and that's okay too. We don't all have to be deep friends, right? Mo Cowboy says, I learned so much from Townsend and Clouds. They do a number of books and workbooks on boundaries. Excellent. I have empathy, yet not able to discern the masks from reality simply by my feelings. That's okay. I love the book, Empath Survival Guide, and I'm not going to get her name right this moment because me and names, so look it up. It's a good book, and it talks about what it is to be an empath and ways to protect yourself and ways to, well, it's a survival guide, right? It's a good book. She is a therapist or a psychologist or someone, again, it's been a while since I read it, but it's a good book for learning about what it is to be an empath and different ways it can present in the world. It's not just this one thing where we can like sense people's feelings, right? Or you may be able to sense it, but you can't determine the mask. So I would suggest that as a thought for you. What did you miss? I don't know. Emily, I almost feel like I need to be further along in healing to set boundaries with confidence with someone who seems unhealthy. So I just want to shut down. Oh, if they seem unhealthy, I don't think that makes you unhealthy to say that you're to place a boundary. Not at all. I think that makes you wise to place a boundary, because especially if you're feeling not secure with where you're at in healing and what they might trigger, I think it's super wise to set boundaries in that regard. And I don't think that makes you unsafe at all. In fact, it makes you safer because you're being honest. And that's part of what makes a person safe, is that they're able to speak the truth in honest and clear ways, right? Empath survival guide, yes. Hello, Misty. Late to the party, but always glad you're here. That's okay. Jack Lumen says, I have a tough time recognizing masks sometimes being on the autistic spectrum. It's something I was discussing with Kira H last night, if you remember. It can be difficult for anyone to recognize a mask. A covert narc could take years to find those masks, and so we got to look for other things, other red flags, and we'll go over those in just a second. Let's see. Yes, new relationship seems a lot of work right now. It is a lot of work. It is. Jack Lumen is asking Emily if you have trouble with establishing boundaries because of the lack of confidence in your progress. What I was hearing her say in that particular situation is because that person is potentially toxic and, at the very least, draining her, that is the case. Okay, so let's talk about some unsafe people. I mean, we know the narc red flags, right? We could go over them all. We could just keep listing them. That might be fun. Just start listing the red flags for me, guys, and I'll read some of these. Okay. Wait, I'm gonna finish Emily here. It says, sort of, my PTSD is strong, and verbalizing boundaries tends to cause intense reactions for them. For this particular person, I'm assuming. And you said she is needy in the very least and somewhat toxic. Then that's okay. Let her have her reactions. Honestly, you can be as polite as you can if you don't want to make waves, but you got to have your boundaries. It's important. It's important. It won't create a healthy relationship without them. So if she truly is wanting a friendship, then she will respect the boundaries. It's the way it goes. So unsafe people, they don't admit any fault. They don't admit, I can't read my writing. They don't admit things. They don't admit, you know what I'm saying? They don't admit when they're wrong. They don't admit to any faults or flaws. Unsafe people are defensive. Their nature of the way they come into any relationship is a defensive nature. You have the slightest disagreement, and the disagreement becomes defensive on their part before you even have a chance to make a point. You could begin making your point, kind of like what's going on with Emily here. We make a point, we maybe set a boundary, and defensiveness pops up. She's not an emotionally safe person. That's a huge red flag. Self-righteous. We can be self-righteous in a way where it's not toxic. And then there's self-righteousness, where everything they say is right, and their opinion, more than anything, if you think of it in an opinion way, their opinion's what matters above all else. Okay? Empty apologies. So they may say sorry, oh, I'm sorry that, that, like with Emily was talking about, oh, I'm sorry, I just got upset about that. But then 2 minutes later, they get upset about the same thing. So it's not really an apology. It's more of a smoothing the waters till they can do it again kind of thing. Flattery, well, we know love bombing, but flattery that's shallow. I mean, someone that is emotionally not safe does not necessarily mean a narc. They can be just emotionally not safe for you. And flattery that is super shallow. A compliment is one thing, and this is, I think, hard for us and why most of us don't like compliments. It's because, first of all, we've been love bombed, and second of all, we've had flattery that's shallow from unsafe people. And a compliment is a real, genuine appreciation someone else has for something you've done, who you are, what you look like. I mean, it can be anything, right? It could be, that's a really cute dress, or that color looks lovely on you. And that can be a real compliment. But there's a shallowness. Y'all know what I'm talking about, right? When you feel that flattery that's shallow, that's an unsafe person, because it basically is saying, I'm going to feed you this so that you feed me back something, right? They demand trust. They don't wait to earn it. That's kind of another thing Emily's talking about there, right? Is somebody that they want to give you a bunch of their stuff you set a boundary, they flip out, they get all defensive, so they're red flag number 1, and then they demand you trust them. So they want information back, or it's a big red flag. Not waiting for the trust to be earned, okay? They do cross boundaries. We kind of talked about that. They cross boundaries, they step on boundaries, they push through boundaries, they create their own boundaries instead, right? Um, I wrote something that looks like Iris. Oh, lies. I'm going to learn to write meter. I have an excuse. Anyway, we're not going to talk about that. Lies, they lie. They lie. And you catch them and they lie some more. Okay, and here's a big one. There's no personal growth. Not only do they not grow personally, if you know them over time, they're not evolving. They're not working on themselves in a way. Not everyone has to be doing this stuff we're doing, right? But most people who are healthy are trying to attain things in their life that better their lives. They're not just sitting doing the same thing over and over again and not evolving at all, right? And then if you have personal growth, they shoot you down. They get judgmental. They do all kinds of things to make you feel like any positive move you've made is worthless, not I don't know. You know what I'm saying? So those are some of the things. I'm going to go back and read what you guys have been saying because I just have been monologuing here. Narcs or toxic people, this is Mo Cowboy, get angry and defensive when confronted with a differing perspective or truth. Exactly. They get angry and defensive. So that's a way to spot an emotionally unsafe person, no matter what you want to call them. The point is, after toxic abuse, we don't need people that in our lives that are going to cross any of these boundaries, whether they are narcs or not, right? We need people that are positive, and it's just a waste of time, right? To have people that you can't trust emotionally. And not to say everyone in your life has to be the most emotionally safe and available person. No, you can have levels of friends, but the people you let in close, they definitely should be, especially if you are a survivor of abuse, because first of all, it's harder to see for us, like you were talking about, Mo Cowboy, it's harder to see the masks. So we have to be careful. And second of all, we've had enough, right? We need to heal. We need to heal and get on into evolving our lives, right? Let's see, Emily, damn Lise, I love that. That's okay. Let her have her reactions, right? I don't have the power and control over her reactions. Exactly. It sets you into a toxic game, right? When you place a boundary and someone freaks out and reacts to that boundary, and then you react to their reacting, it sets that whole game in motion. So I love that you do not have the power and control over her reactions. You don't. And that's up. She has to grow up and have her own emotional maturity and intelligence enough to have a friendship. Mo Cowboy, arrogant, entitled, defensive, morally superior, and angry. I run. There you go. And Jack Lumen says to Emily, kudos on that acknowledgement. I'm still learning that I can't control the reactions of others. It's a tough one, but it's true. It saves you a lot of time too when you realize that. Alicia, hello. I think I've said hello to you like 6 times. Hi. It was always sorry. Then the next moment it was sorry and how it was my fault and the situation happened. Exactly. And that's with a narc. But I mean, a toxic person that's not a narc may not point the finger back, but they still might have, or an emotionally unsafe person still might have that similar feel to it. Okay. So, I mean, we kind of know, but we can apply it. Let's see. Kira, hello. Let's see. Any questions you guys have or anything? Hello, Lynn. Anything you want to talk about? I'm kind of just ran right through all that. Anything? I can go back to the positive side too of how to spot emotionally safe people if anyone wants to talk about that some more. Let's see. Soccer mom, they make everything larger. Bend the truth for sure. Exactly. Yeah. Hey, Julie. Hey, I'm having a bit of a problem. One of my alters was out when Jack Lumen asked me to join you, and she's very socially nervous. Well, she's welcome, and You can sit back and watch. You can sit back and read. I don't know how to help the problem other than to say welcome. Okay. It's okay to be socially nervous. It's okay. I'm socially nervous. It's okay. And yet here we are, right? Erica, hello. She says, Emily, I had to just delete and block a toxic friend. Sometimes I just cut them off. It's necessary, if necessary. Excellent. Good for you on setting that boundary because you've got enough stress, right? We don't need toxic friends as well. Mo Cowboys, safe people listen with reciprocity. I can say the big words. Let's see. Allow me to speak my truth and listen as they speak their truth. Isn't that true? And isn't that nice? I sat in a place today for lunch and I just watched people talk. I was thinking about this topic and I was paying attention to the way people talk to one another and the way the flow of communication goes and the expressions on people's faces. And you could kind of see when you watch people who feels safe with who and how. I don't know. It was great. It was really fun to watch the communication. And I saw a whole lot of that happening. So I know there are a lot of safe people out there. Okay. I watched a lot of that happening, this reciprocal discussion going back and forth and very, it's animated and alive without being charismatic and over the top, right? You just feel welcomed in their space and you feel heard without the need to be completely enmeshed with them, right? Without them needing to get way into your emotional space, right? And without your need to be in theirs. So you're both taking care of your own emotional space. There's safety there, right? Emily, Lise, I asked some questions up top. Sorry, I didn't make that clear. This person is a coworker, or I think no contact would be my method. Exactly. Did I miss your questions, Emily? I'm sorry. I can go back and look if I can find it. Yeah, I missed the way to spot emotionally safe people. I'll go through a bunch. I'll go through it again, Misty, unless people have questions and we go from there. But I'll go through it again because there's a nice little list here. Yeah, just repeat them if I miss them because scrolling back makes my head spin. I can't do it real safely without losing everything that I'm doing. Oh, you retracted it. That would be why I didn't see it. Just ask another, Emily. You're good with the questions. I love talking to Emily. I hear you, Erica America. I will give people the benefit of the doubt, says Jack Lemon. And I feel bad when I realize we'll have to judge them more than harshly. And I don't want to. Did you say you feel bad about it, Erica? And I missed that. I think I'm missing stuff right now. I'm sorry, guys. Vocabulary review is excellent. Repeat them, please. Okay, let's do it. You ready? Okay, got the book. All right. Safe people. Okay, you ready, Misty? They listen to you and you feel heard. We just talked about that. Mo Cowboy had a great thing. Let's repeat what he said because what he said was lovely. He said, safe people listen with reciprocity. Allow me to speak my truth and listen as they speak. And I listen as they speak theirs. Yes, and they speak it openly without a whole lot of need. It's just, yeah, you can feel it. So see, you get it. Let's see. They assert their own boundaries. They assert their own boundaries and they respect yours. So they're people that know what they need and they know how to set a boundary with the world and you, and they respect the ones you set. Okay. They want you to grow. They appreciate and are joyful in your growth. Okay. Unsafe people, toxic people will try and diminish your growth or negate it, they invalidate it and kind of knock you down. Like you might say, oh, I got this great job. And they say, you going to keep that one? Or you think you can handle it instead of, oh, wow, what is it? Yeah, everyone's got an example of that kind of thing, I'm sure. They are validating. So they listen to you, but not only do they listen to you, but they know how to validate you. They say, I can see how that would feel or, something. They don't tell you how you should feel. They don't say, you know what, you shouldn't feel that. You know, you should do this. You shouldn't talk about that. They might say something instead like, do you think that talking about that is hurting you? Or do you think that that much negativity is hurting you? I mean, they may find ways to say it nicer, but they don't tell you should. Okay. Should is a word that is best left for very, very specific situations. Okay. You should not walk in front of a car as it's coming speeding towards you. Okay. That makes sense. But they let you talk and they stay neutral. If you are having a conversation with them and you need to vent or you need to tell the story and you're getting emotionally charged, they can kind of stay neutral in the sense that, I mean, they may feel with you a little bit, but they're not fueling your negativity, right? We all have to vent sometimes and we have to get negative and it happens. But an emotionally safe person can sit and just be with you while you're doing that in a neutral way. They are patient. Okay. They're patient with you and they allow you to feel patience toward them. They are non judgmental. So they may be judging, they may be able to discern what you're saying and judge it from how, like, say, maybe you're acting a little off, and they may be able to say, huh, you're acting a little off. And it's not a judgment, it's a judging, right? But they're non judgmental. They don't sit and criticize you, they're not sizing you up and comparing you to everybody else. Okay. They don't take your difficulties personal. So if you're having, oh, this is a good one, and I missed it because I couldn't read it, but I read it. So if you're having a day, okay, and you're just talking about your difficulties, they don't then think, they don't then take it personal like you're talking about them, right? If you're in a grouchy mood and you're making a face, they don't assume that face is about them. Okay, it's not emotionally safe for someone if, and we all do this to a degree, but an emotionally safe person knows, can discern and will more often ask, are you okay? Rather than assuming you're not okay, rather than assuming it's about them. Does that make sense? Or they'll say, did I do something? Then then you know that the person is actually seeing an expression on your face and asking if there's something they can do about it, or did they do something. So rather than just taking it personal, getting mad at you, walking away, keep holding it in, talking behind your back, whatever it is. Okay. They keep their word for the most part. Everybody has moments, right? But they keep their word. They keep their word. They're compassionate and they have empathy. We know that. We know that one. They speak their truth in an honest and clear way so that you're not second guessing or questioning what their truth actually is. Okay. And they're okay with silence. They're okay to sit in the silence with you when you're hanging out. Okay. That's some of the things I thought of, and we can go on. I'm going to go back. I'm reading from a list I made. I just thought of things and looked things up and thought of things and kind of brainstormed it really fast here. And so that's what I'm reading from, Emily. La, 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 la. Okay, we reviewed it. How do you break up with, okay, is this it, Emily? How do you break up with a toxic friend in a way that respects you? Just keep enforcing boundaries until they don't want to be friends anymore. You can set boundaries like, I don't want to hang out. I don't have time right now. I mean, it depends on what you want. If you want to fully break up, like literally, you just don't want to talk to them anymore, you can, I'd have to know the specific situation because I think that would have to be handled specifically, especially if it's with a work person, because they are going to be there. Let me think about it. Okay, Emily, I'll definitely get you something, but put it in the comments. If I don't get to you, put it in the comments, please, so I can type it to you later. I have to think about that. And I'm trying to think about it more because I know it's a specific situation with a coworker, which means the person's going to be in your life, and she's volatile, right? Emotionally. So have to think. Off the cuff, I would probably give you something that might not be so great. Rosemary has selective mutism, my alter. Okay, she likes to know how to be emotional. Oh, how to be emotionally safe if you can't talk. Hmm. How to be emotionally safe. How she can be emotionally safe to other people? Is that what you mean? Think of a picture of Mother Teresa greeting a bunch of refugee children. It's just a photograph. It's not talking. Can you look at her face? It's through expression of openness toward other people and acceptance. Doesn't need words. You don't need words to be accepting and open to other people. Now, how to know if other people are safe for her is looking at this list that I gave and finding your own ways that like how why do you feel emotionally unsafe and write those down so you can look for the opposite in people, right? Excuse me. Kira says, Emily, I'm struggling with that right now myself. I'm currently responding with, that's nice, that's a shame, and not feeding her narcissism. I figure she will then look for other supply elsewhere. That's wise and smart. And the cut and dry gray rock technique, if you have to be around the person, is usually the best way. Not having time for them, busying your life, creating a lot of busyness around yourself, obvious busyness that she can't deny. That can help. And Jack Lemon says he's spinning some guess on this one. Consider allow yourself to have the control, own the breakup, the boundary. Don't let them decide when they want to drift. Yeah, I think I get it. Emily, she says, it's a coworker and I'm nervous of the backlash I'll get from them. I hate that I have this fear. It's paralyzing. Okay, don't let it scare you. This is where you can take control. Don't let it scare you. Okay. Have as much integrity as you can when you speak to people, when you speak to her, and be as clear as you can. You don't owe her your emotions. You don't owe her your availability. And so it may be a slow backing off with her, but at the same time, really clear boundaries. It's okay if she gets upset. And you can say things like, look, I know that's upsetting, but I really only have so much time in a day. And I give you what I can. Things like that it really is her. She needs to grow herself up or not. but you're having this paralyzing fear isn't helpful to you. So try not to go into the fear. And I'm curious what the fear is saying. What is that fear saying? I mean, I get the fear of backlash. But what is it? What about the backlash? What's scaring you? Let's see. I'm going to skip down here a little. Erica, toxic coworkers are a different beast. Gray rock works. Exactly. Emily, Jack Lemon, yes and yes. She has borderline. Okay. You're welcome, Julie. Let's see. Emily Ray, I believe it's the book Safe People. Emily, at least your list is a great blog material. Well, thank you. it's here. Will I write it? I don't know. Or something. It still confuses me. What I missed something, soccer mom. I missed the first stuff. Oh, my soon-to-be ex would tell me I was. How did I miss all that? Sorry about that, guys. Toxic people do rush things. Definitely a red flag. Exactly. Mo Cowboy must have said something awesome again. While, here we go. Going back. While, not will. Okay. While they are in shock that I can now speak. Okay. There it is. Toxic people rush things. Wow, Lise. Okay. Toxic people rush things. Commitments. Promise from me. I'm learning to say slow down. There, Speedy. Slow down there, Speedy. Breathe. That's right. Refrain from pressure of an immediate promise. While they are in shock, I run. That's right. Yeah. Emily's saying, Lisa, I feel like my gut is telling me there's a difference from setting and enforcing boundaries and feeling like you have to teach how to be healthy, not my job. It's right. It sounds like she is looking to you to take care of her emotional needs, and that is not your place. That is no friend's place. Okay. I would direct her to therapy if that were the case. And I don't know that you can necessarily do that, but that's what it sounds like she's needing, honestly, because it's her responsibility to take care of her emotional needs and her emotional, you're doing what you can, Emily. You got this. It's just not easy. And so I would advise looking for emotionally safe people to begin with. right? And I know it happens. It happens. Toxic people do rush things. Definitely a red flag, says Kira. Soccer mom says, my soon to be ex would tell me I was mad all the time when I wasn't. I had no clue what he was talking about. Yeah, you see? Isn't that weird? Yes. You're mad all the time, or you're rude, or you're doing something and you don't know what it is. Um, yes, I agree, Jonathan. You shouldn't have to teach them. You should be able to just make a simple consequence for this friend. Yeah, when she violates boundaries. Um, Soccer mom, small projection on his part. That's right. um, okay. Lynn, here we go. Lynn, hello, Lynn. What do you think about someone who shares their experience when you're telling them something? Wait, who shares their experiences when you're telling them something? I'm told it's her relating. It feels a lot like not being heard. I think that's poor relating. I think it is what people do. It's super common and it's a personality style. I don't necessarily think it's toxic if there's no other red flags, but it totally does feel like not being heard. And you're an INFJ, I think, right? Like me. We are really sensitive to that, if that's the case. I believe you are. But we're sensitive to that because we listen deeply and we try to connect with people where they are. And when we speak, we want a little bit of that back. And it's not everyone can do that. And that whole what do you call that? My brain today. What you're talking about there? When somebody shares their experience instead of just listening, they say, "Oh yeah, that happened to me too. That happened to me too." And it feels to them, it feels like relating to you. It feels like you just took what I was saying and made it yours. Not my story. Now it's your story. And it's really frustrating. I think it's frustrating. And I don't think it's necessarily toxic, but I think there can be ways to, if it's a very close person, to help them see that that makes you feel not heard, usually through example. So instead of saying, maybe start, I don't know, it depends on the person. So I don't know the whole story. I'm just going off here. Let's see. Okay, skipping ahead here so I can catch up with you guys. Where did it go? Okay. Erica, I avoided a toxic coworker like the plague for a year. I bought her niece who visits the office a checkers game. She totally changed her tune. Excellent. Emily, fear of dealing with a smear campaign and the drama she'll cause at the job. I guess I just handle it like I would my narc smear campaign. Well, hopefully it won't get that far. My guess is her smear campaign won't be the same as a narc smear campaign. It will be trying to find one or another person to agree with her. And it'll be more underhanded and backstabby, like without being overtly. I mean, that's a guess. I don't know. That's a guess. And like I said, you can still be kind to her and set boundaries. You just got to keep setting them. It's exhausting. And maybe something, I don't know what she's actually doing. So if someone was persistently asking me to do stuff, and I just feel like they are consuming my time in a way that's too much, too fast, I would say, look, I have this many hours in a week. I can't spread myself that thin. Maybe we can find something to do that you would enjoy. And so you'll have other people to help you out with this, and I don't know, offering her suggestions to get her needs met other than therapy, which it sounds like is necessary. America says, Lynn, some people may not know how to listen, but may not be toxic. Other signs are needed. Exactly. And it is true. That's most people don't active listen at all. Most people don't know how to listen, or a lot of people don't know how to listen. Not most people. What am I talking about? Some people don't know how to listen. I don't know how to speak. Let's see. Jack Lemon says, Lynn, I also sense their relating is like a competition for dumping, unloading. They can't share their burden. They just want to dump theirs on you instead. Could be. It could be. It's just a way of relating that is not super useful for actually relating. Thank you, everyone, and Lise, for letting me ask these questions and giving your feedback. You're welcome. I hope that helps a little bit. And Jacqueline has a good suggestion here to seek some help from a supervisor if you need it. You're an INFJ too. I like the INFJs. We were good thinkers. um, just annoying, not toxic. Okay, yeah, I think that's. I'd have to have a specific to say how I would handle it, but or how I think could possibly help you feel heard and like what to say, but um, it is annoying. It's okay to be self. What's the word? I can't think of the word. Um, whatever. Once in a while, it's okay to do that once in a while because that is relating, but to do it all the time is difficult. Kira is saying, yes, that's exactly how I feel. Conversations with my friends go, I don't feel heard. She makes everything about her. Right. Yeah. It's tricky. We can't force people to listen, but what we can do is realize that might not be a person to go to for those types of things. If you really need to be heard, go to a friend that can really hear you, right? Kira's an INFJ too. Yes, there's so many of us here. That's good. Emily says, oh, this is how she deals with her smear campaign from her narc: no contact, no public acknowledgement, and no mutual relationships. Excellent. Emily's a smart one. Cowboy. I projected the way I think onto others. What others did made no sense. My therapist had me take the test to allow me to understand people think differently. I don't think that's being an INFJ though, because the J comes in there, and I think that's most likely from your previous traumas, right? Because the judging of the judging, not judgmental, of the INFJ comes in there and allows discernment. And so we do often, I have a hard time actually the opposite. I have a hard time projecting the way I think onto others because I'm so busy trying to assess how they're thinking. Does that make sense? So it's kind of the opposite for me. And I feel like that's strongly in that personality trait for some people. Um, so maybe something else was in there too. I don't know. I don't know. Or maybe it is. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. Lynn says, I've said it a few times and she says it's her way of relating. But yeah, she usually says, well, for me, and then tells me her story. Oh, it's tiring. Yeah, you just want to hear, really? And what else about that? Or how did that make you feel? Or what did you think about that? You don't necessarily want that kind of relating all the time. And yeah, maybe asking her questions in her stories would help her ask you questions in yours. Just setting an example. I don't know, worth a shot, right? It's worth a shot because sometimes going at it directly, people think that's how they are. And it really isn't how they are. It's how they've learned to be. It's how they've learned to relate, how they've learned to relate versus what their partner or friend needs. Um, Sometimes just giving what you need, if it's not a toxic person, to the other person, they can see that it can change the way you relate. Worth a try. Sometimes, this is Jack Lemon says, sometimes I feel I can have a little friction with INFJs because of the J. Possibly. What is your personality type? I think I missed it. Emily Ray, I think Lisa's right. If you can gray rock them, maybe deal with her like a deep covert narc. Maybe that's the best way. Yeah, I think that's true, especially if she's not. I think I'd set a boundary, Emily, and then if she doesn't respect it, I'd gray rock at that point. Excuse me. Sorry. La la la. Okay. So, okay. Vocabulary. Haha, found one. I do that now, Lise, which has brought sanity and clarity. A lot of time exploring, reading, learning, listening to figure out how others function. Interesting. So interesting. It's like the opposite of how my normal functioning is. I have to work the other direction to know what I'm actually about sometimes. That's interesting. Um, Mo Cowboys, Jack Lumen says, y'all got me outnumbered. But took the INFJ that knows the MBTI very well to show me that not INF. I'm INFP. Yeah. It's interesting. INFPs and INFJs, yeah, there can be a slight clash sometimes. It's okay though. It's good. I think we challenge each other a little bit and it's good. Um, Pete Walker explains about judging to place blame where it belongs versus becoming a dumping ground for shame and blame of what others do. Exactly. Love him. Emily, Lise, this live chat stream game is strong tonight. Really feeling the energy. Good. Excellent. Erica America, I am ISFP, whatever that means. I'm going to look it up. I don't know that one too well. I'm going to look it up. Remind me, Erica. Looking you up. Whoa, you are very. I got all caps here, Jack Lemon. At least I am INFP. P. I'm distinguished by my P. He. Okay. Okay. Now we're talking about you're ENFP, Julie. Okay. All right, you guys. Oh, I was going to add a little bit because somebody asked, and I don't remember where, I think it was on Span, about how do you know you're ready to date after a narcissist? And I thought this kind of went well with this topic because ready is a word that only you know the answer to. Hello, Michelle. You're not sure what you are. Oh, go do the test, Misty. 16 personalities. It's fun. I have a guess, but I'm not saying until you tell me. So anything from that list that I read and anything more that you can think of that relates to that is how you know you're ready. You are able to distinguish safe from unsafe, and you are able to say no to the unsafe. Okay, you have a strong enough a strong enough sense of self and a low enough tolerance for the BS of toxic people to be able to say no to anything from the unsafe list or the list of red flags that you might see, and to be able to walk away from even something that is potentially okay. So we got to stop looking for when you're ready to stop looking for potential and ready to start looking for someone that's actually emotionally available to you. A narc will never be emotionally available. It's an easy one. Just that emotional availability and emotional maturity and emotional intelligence are important, especially if you are working on healing and you would like your life to revolve around evolving rather than plummeting back down. Okay, that's how you know you're ready. When you are able to, when you know what you want and you're able to hold yourself to the standard of what you want. I'm not talking about, tall, dark, and handsome. I'm talking about strong, secure, safe, that kind of thing. So those are some of the ways. I'm not going to talk too much about dating here because, yeah, not today anyway. Maybe we can do a whole thing on it some other time. I do have a group on it right now, and it's been interesting because we're not actually talking about dating. We're talking about ourselves and how to make self ready for other people in our lives. So I think this topic today is one big way, is learning the difference between safe and unsafe people and being able to say no to the unsafe people and setting that boundary like Emily is doing. That is a big, amazing thing you are doing for yourself. And it's not easy, but you know what? She is teaching you how to do this for your future. Okay. She's not teaching you. You're teaching yourself through the experience of dealing with her. She's not teaching you anything except how to be patient when you're annoyed, right? You're learning on your own. Okay, you guys, anything else? Ooh, I have like a minute here. That went fast today. How come? How come it went so fast? Because I read the list twice. I don't know. Okay. Anything else you guys want to talk about with the topic today, or anything else that you have a question about before I head out of here today? I'll be back next Tuesday, if not before. I will try to come back before, but Tuesday for sure, or for it's for sure is for sure gets. And we're going to be talking about on Tuesday getting pulled back in and ruminating on the trauma, plus hoovering. So we'll talk about that on Tuesday. And anything that anybody wants, anyone who's viewing this can leave a comment below. Excuse me, I'm losing my voice. Anyone who's viewing this can leave a comment in the comment section below if they would like anything to be discussed or talked about, or any topic that they want to bring up, and I will try to get to it within the time allowed in the next few weeks. That would be great. And let's read back here. Julie says 5 love languages are another great way to know yourself. Yes. Mo Cowboy. Yeah, dating. Oh my. Yesterday, for the first time, I desired to ask a dude out for coffee. Didn't, but heard the desire. So I'm getting past the flirt with me and die stage of recovery. Beautiful. Excellent. It's beautiful. You know what? It's flirting with life, right? That's the fun. Flirting with life. Being able to be in life again, regardless of what we do. But see, this list of safe, unsafe, it's helpful. Knowing how to say no and not tolerating it, not tolerating abuse. That's how we learn that we're ready, I think. But Michelle says, my concern is I don't want to get so independent that I push good people away. That's interesting. I don't necessarily equate independence with pushing people away. Feeling like you're the only one who can take the world on by yourself, maybe, but I'm not understanding it on a practical level when I read it, but I totally get it on another level, right? It did go fast. I know. It was because of the synergy energy. That's right. Mo Cowboy, a chance meeting at the grocery store in a small town. Hadn't seen him for 26 years. Sounds interesting. In 16 years. Okay. Well, either way, still a long time, right? Oh. Kira, let's see, Declan, that's so cool. I originally thought I was INFP or ENFP because my score would vary on the tests. I had to research the actual types to settle on my true type. Yeah, I've taken it on a couple different places. The way the questions are answered, and it's funny because the way the questions are asked makes me think of situations in which I would answer the questions. And so if the questions are asked a certain way, I'll test INFP, but I'm definitely not if you read the description. And I was always like, but I'm not really that. And finally I found a couple, and I can't remember where they are now, and I would score repeatedly INFJ on those. And that made a lot more sense when I read the description of what that was. And it's because their questions were more cut and dry, and it spoke more to my J instead of this open, like, you're at a party and, like that kind of thing. And first of all, I don't go to parties. And second of all, I'd have to make up what I do. So it's all imaginary. And anyway, so yes, finding different places to take the test if you feel like it doesn't fit is a good. Let's see, Lise, would you ever do a special stream on INFJ? Totally would. I would, except I need questions around it to help me. I'm writing it down. Stream. Writing it down. Yeah, I need questions around it to help me talk about it. Like, what about it? Right? I totally would, though. It's great. Actually, I do a whole thing on personality types, too. Your INFP, is that what you said, Misty? Or is that a question? INFP? I don't know. More topics on how to date after all this trauma and pain. Okay, soccer mom. Right now I have a group coaching going on for that. And I'm trying to take notes from that a little bit, not on what people say, but on the types of things we talk about so that I can help further with that. I'd actually like to do a focus group on that too and just talk. So be interesting. um, okay. Independent, awesome. Let's see. Mo Cowboy, I missed something. Body Keeps the Score. Yes, that is an excellent book. Discussion on aspects of ourselves. I'm the other three. Okay. Oh, la, 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 la. What does INFJ look like in a partner? Well, I'm going to write that down. In a partner. Okay, partner. I'll write it down. I know what I think, but I don't have time for it now, but I know I will definitely write it down. It's a good topic. Um, let's see. Soccer mom, Lise, I like how you said flirt with life. I like to flirt with life. It's when I'm happiest, right? When I'm able to be happy by myself. This is another thing. You're ready to date when you're happy alone, when you're just happy being out in life, or maybe not happy, just content with your life, right? We don't want to need people. We don't want the vulnerabilities to be the reason that we're seeking companionship. That is someone looking at that should see it as a red flag, or it's an open door to a toxic person. Okay. So learning to be happy with your life. That is why I'm always saying you guys go out and find the joy. Find something, one thing that makes you happy today. Makes you feel the feeling of flirting with life a little. Yeah. Anyway, you guys are talking a lot. I like it. Okay, I looked at the website with the description first. I'm going to go take the test. Go take the test, Misty. We're going to end here, and you can go take the test and let me know. um, okay. Anything else that I missed? Did I miss something? If anyone had a question I missed, go ahead and pop it in real quick, and I will get to it. Otherwise, I'm going to go and take care of business here. Every group that I have is starting over next month. I'm switching things up. Groups will start on the 1st. Groups will go through the month. Groups will be one price for the month. They will be recurring. Should you wish to cancel, you may. That's how it's going to work. Simplifying it all. Okay. And so we got a trauma bond group. We got a self-care group. We have a group I call Evolving, and it's this kind of talk that we're talking about here today. Plus, most of the stuff I stream about lately has been a lot of topics have come from people in that group asking for specific things to be talked about. So that's good. And then the dating group is a separate one. It's going to be over in 2 weeks, and I will start with boundaries yet again. So that's what's going on the coaching side of group coaching things, and I'll get information out there where you can find it if you need it. That's it. Oh, you're welcome, Emily. Thank you guys. And thank you all for coming. I appreciate you very much. I enjoy talking to you many times a week, and I'm excited to do more often. I'm going to start a morning stream too at some point, one of the days of the week. I don't know which yet. Still working on it. It'll be probably next week or the one after. Okay. So that's it. You guys take care. And see you next time. Bye-bye. Anyone watching, don't forget to subscribe. Hit the like. Say hello. Leave comments. All that good stuff. Bye-bye.